Welcome to yet another, not another Baptist podcast. I'm not sure why we're back again, but here we are and ready to do life together and unpack some great topics as we keep this train wreck choo-choo going. Kyle, isn't it cool how God really showed up and showed out last time? I mean, we got to give God a hand clap of praise.
Yes,
hallelujah.
Yes. Glory be.
God. Kyle, what's happening, Kyle?
Hey, I tell you what, God gave us a wonderful hedge of protection the last week. And I don't know about Mayhill, but in Alamogordo Sunday, we got our worship on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I don't know what you're saying.
Why
What are we
do
doing?
people listen to this? I can't figure
I
it
haven't
out.
figured that out either. But okay, that's enough of the well-worn cliches. I'm here with Kyle, non-alcoholic beerman, the pastor of First Baptist Alamogordo, and this is Matt, the pastor of Mayhill Baptist in, well, Mayhill. And we're back again to chop it up about church revitalization, church planting, and other Southern Baptist trouble we can get into. Kyle, you were gone a little bit last week. I believe you had a funeral. What's happening in your world?
Yeah, I did. My grandmother passed away, so we had her funeral Monday morning. And so we headed to my hometown of Tahoka, Texas, and had a great time there. Great celebration of her life. While I was gone, we had our fall festival here at the church, had about 500 people come through Sunday afternoon, and just had from all reports, a great time of outreach to our community. We got some follow-up to do out of that. So really excited about the next month, following up with some folks there.
And I think something landed recently at McDonald's that you're a little bit excited about. What is that?
Yes, this is the glorious time of the year where the McRib makes its annual return. And I tell you what, I know you're stoked because your Houston Astros won the World Series last night. For me, I'm a little bit sadder about that, and not just because my team, the Rangers, fell apart this year, but also because there's no baseball today. Yeah. So I'm trusting McRib to hold me over for the next couple of months as we prepare for 2018.
Yes,
it's gonna be the Rangers' year, man. It's gonna be it.
I'll be happy with any Texas team that would be in the World Series to represent the great Republic of Texas, a great nation of Texas. Kyle was able to get me to try the McRib for the very first time just a moment ago. We're digesting that now, and I'm not sure I can say it was a life-changing experience, but that's enough of all of the fun cliches that we could throw out there. It was nevertheless awesome. I'll just stick with this. As far as what's happening in Mayhill, yay, God.
Yay, God.
Yay, God. We had a dude get saved on Sunday, which is always worthy of a celebration. In fact, we threw a party for this dude to celebrate what God did, and guess what we called it?
A holy hallelujah celebration.
Not even close. Oh. That was a really dumb guess. It was a new birthday party. Yes.
Hey, now I got to ask. So you're familiar with the song "Happy Birthday"? I'm sure.
This is true.
Are you familiar with the second verse?
I'm a Baptist. We don't sing the second verse of anything.
I'm about to.
We'll put that in the show notes. Yes, we'll put that in the show notes. But this really comes to one of our favorite topics, and that being church revitalization. We just had our first ever trunk or treat on Satan's Halloween. And we're absolutely blown away by the turnout. This was something we didn't know what to expect. We knew we might have 15, 20 kids. We ended up with over 90 show up for a fun night of candy and pretty creatively decorated cars, I might say. Our folks hadn't done that before and wrongly thought that I was a genius, that I came up with this. I didn't, but they think I did, and so I'll roll with it. Absolutely. But we had tons of visitors, tons of candy, and we dispersed that. We had a great time, and we're both, though, in some pretty hard-to-reach places. Alamogordo, Mayhill, we're up in the mountains. He's down in the desert. And we all know our statistics here is 90 to 95% lostness, and we are really in some dark, stony ground here. It's difficult, and so I'm wondering what's working here in Alamo with some of the harder to reach folks. What are you doing? What's working?
Sure. So one of the things that I've started doing is trying to get out of the office as much as possible. So I mean, obviously there's there are things that have to be done in the office, and I totally understand that. But for me, I spend as much time studying at a local coffee shop as I do here in the office. In some ways, I feel like I concentrate better, and also that just helps me get out and meet some folks that I'm not going to do sitting in my office all by myself. So that was one way. That's one way that I've been intentional, is to build some relationships, and had a few gospel conversations, but really just still in that process of getting to know some folks, getting to know particularly the staff at the worship or at the coffee shop, and some regulars that are there as well. One of the big things that we did is last September, so just over a year ago, we started a Thursday night recovery service, and our main attenders from that come out of an Alcoholics Anonymous house, a ladies' house here. And in fact, most of our baptisms this year have come out of that house. And so that's been a really good way for us to reach out into the community and in some areas that weren't really, wasn't really being addressed by any church in a recovery effort. That hasn't quite grown the way we had hoped it would, but we've got a steady group of 20 to 30 ladies that show up every Thursday night for our recovery service. So,
and you've had some baptisms out of that, as I recall.
Oh, absolutely,
correct?
Yeah. Like I said, most of our baptisms this year have come out of that group. Out of the 6 or 7 that we've done so far, I think 5 of them came out of that group. So it's
cool.
been really good.
Well, in Mayhill, we have some music-loving people. We've got a group within our church that does some bluegrass and some gospel music, and so they love music. And so one of the things that's been working well for us has been concerts. And so we've had a concert maybe every other month. We've got one coming up actually Saturday with the Kramers. I hadn't heard of them, but our people have, and they're stoked to be there. And so I'm always kind of going in like, what's going to happen? Who's going to show up? But that's one of the ways that we brought in some folks from the community. And like I shared with the Trunk or Treat, we had no idea what to expect. We put it out on Facebook. We threw some of the flyers at the post office and the cafe, which is really the only businesses we have there. You would be a little more busy if you tried to put a flyer on every business here. It takes me about 5 seconds. So it's kind of fantastic. But we just had a ton of people show up. And the other thing is perhaps being in the mountains, or certainly being in a church that has a number of veterans, our patriotic holidays end up being a big thing for us. We don't do anything in the actual service for it apart from giving thanks for our veterans or remembering those that have fallen. But after the service, usually we do something. And this coming Veterans Day, we're going to have a veterans and first responders lunch after the service. We're going to have the color guard there doing all that great stuff. And we've already have an overwhelming response from the different police departments and the fire departments, everybody planning to be there. That's awesome. And that's one of the ways that has really opened up our church to be more for the community and not just its own little country club, which is what we do not want. And the other thing, kind of like you being at the Starbucks or whatever. We don't have a Starbucks in Mayhill. I don't know if you didn't know that or not, but
call Howard Schultz right now.
And well, we're almost getting to that Christmas time, so this might not be the best time to talk about that. But
another topic for another day.
Another topic. But I sit outside of the cafe, which is in between the post office and where people go to eat, and it's literally the meeting place for our town. Everybody's going to get their mail. Everybody's going to eat something. And so I sit out there with my book or my Bible and just hang out. And I'll read out there, and it's a quiet place, or people come by and I get to talk to them. And so that's worked really well for us. Well, friends, we're going to transition a bit to something Kyle is very pensive.
I'm protesting.
He's protesting. We put out on Facebook that if this post got 1 like, I set the bar really low. I mean, this is a train wreck. We know this.
This was done before I was awake, mind you, okay? This was all Matt.
It was all my idea. But we are going to transition to a one chip challenge by Paqui. And so I guess we could put this to a song and say, "This pot is on fire." I'll stop right there.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, we're stoked at the overwhelming response to this dumpster fire that we're going to take a fire-based challenge with the one chip challenge by Paqui. And so I brought Brother Kyle here a coffin from Paqui Chips for the one chip challenge. And it asked there on the on the back of the box. Do you dare to go to hell and back? I mean, we could get into the theological issues there, but instead of that, we decided for the last little bit of this podcast today, since it couldn't get any worse, right? We're going to throw on our headbands here, and we're going to throw our headbands on and take this challenge together. We've got some Tums with us. We've got some milk, and that's still, I'll give you a little heads up. It's not going to do much. It's not going to help. This chip is made with 1 Carolina Reaper, 1 habanero pepper, and 1 ghost pepper. And I wish I could tell you that it's going to taste good. About the only thing I can tell you is at the end of the day, you will say you did something today. It will.
I definitely did something.
Yes. It will not be the highlight of your day. The McRib probably was that. This kind of balances out. Life is about balance, isn't it, Kyle? And so this we're aiming for some balance. And so we're going to open up this chip. We're going to pop it in our mouth. We're going to chew it up. So sorry for the sound that you might hear. We're going to
attempt to continue talking.
We're going to attempt to continue to discuss some of the things happening at our church and all that good stuff as we continue. And so wish us luck there. Give us a little drum roll if you're listening at home. If you're still listening at this point, probably already turned off. And
oh my goodness, just the smell of that is.
So you can't smell this at home. Pretty lucky for you.
My eyes are already burning.
And don't rub your eyes once you do this. So everybody, bottoms up. Is that something a Baptist can say? I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Here we go.
I've done a lot of dumb things. This is going to rank up there.
This is up there. Yep.
Holy cow. All right.
Let's do it. All right, Kyle.
It's a hot chip.
It is a hot chip. It's going to get hotter, brother.
Oh, I'm sure.
So what's happening at Alamogordo? What sermon series are you doing right now?
Sure. So I am currently preaching through 1 John. And believe it or not, it's not as bad as I thought. The chip, not 1 John. 1 John's awesome. I can't even talk. Holy cow. Preaching through 1 John. I'm going to finish up chapter 3 right before right before Thanksgiving. Oh my goodness. Dude, if you're barfing all in my office, it's going to ruin this. Holy cow, my eyes are watering. What are you preaching through?
We're in the middle of Philemon right now. And we're continuing that this week with Paul's plea to Philemon. And one of the things we're pointing out is that Paul certainly could have used his apostleship to demand that Philemon do what he wants, but instead he is talking to him out of love, which I have little love right now. I can't really feel anything. But I've got the hiccups. Eyes are watering. But we're doing Philemon in the morning and Esther. He gone. So it's just Matt here now. Kyle is gone. But we're in the middle of Esther at night and wrapping that up with some of the Jewish victories in chapter 9 and Philemon in the morning. And we'll wrap up all of that by Thanksgiving. And so, Kyle, back to this one chip challenge. We'll come back to this in a second. This was insane.
It was crazy. Almost as crazy as trying to replant and revitalize the church.
Oh, nice transition. That was beautiful. Nice transition, Kyle.
Oh my gosh. This, I've always heard about hot stuff. Like bringing tears to your eyes.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've ever personally experienced that.
This was a moving episode. You've got 2 podcasts crying here. But so you're going through 1 John.
Yeah,
and how far have you made it? Are you going to make that all the way through and finish before Advent, or are you going to pick that up again in 2018?
We're going to finish through chapter 3. And then do Advent. And then it's been long enough, right?
We are right at the 5-minute mark, so we're chugging down some milk.
So then we'll come back in January and finish up 1 John right before Easter, I think.
Okay, awesome. And so for us, we will wrap up Philemon by Christmas. We'll break for Thanksgiving and Advent, and we're going to kick off Mark in 2018. Cool. And not Philemon. We're already doing that. We won't do that again right now. But the first book of Psalms in our evening service.
Sweet.
I'm so excited about that. Kyle, what do y'all do for Christmas and Advent? Do y'all do anything special?
We will do we'll light the Advent candles beginning with the first Sunday right after Thanksgiving, okay. And then we'll do a Christmas Eve service. So obviously this year with Christmas Eve being on Sunday, we'll meet on Sunday morning, and then we'll do a candlelight service, probably Christmas Eve evening as well.
Okay.
We're actually just lining all of that up right now.
Very cool.
So, this is kind of a weird year with Christmas Eve being on Sunday and trying to figure out what exactly we're going to do with that. But, yeah.
So, if you're still listening to us, after you click that subscribe button faster than someone could say the sinner's prayer, we would love for you to connect with us on Facebook at Not Another Baptist Podcast, on Twitter at NAB_podcast. And we would certainly ask you to support us on Patreon at Not Another Baptist Podcast to help offset the cost of this. And stay up to date. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and we'll keep posting when these things are going to go live. I believe every Friday is our plan. And we're looking forward to seeing what everything God's going to do through this train wreck. And this day definitely
is a train wreck.
Qualifies as a very hot and spicy. It is a hot mess. Well, thanks for listening. Until next time, may your coffee be as black as night and as bold as the gospel you proclaim. Have a great day, and God bless.
God bless you guys.